Hello, students, and welcome to English class. I'm your English teacher, Mr. Oza. That's me, and it is time for us to work on classwork number 71. This assignment is just simply titled Revision, and we are going to revise the rough drafts that we wrote on classwork number 70, the last assignment. So here we go. Some directions for this assignment. Watch this video. Thank you. That's the easy part. Thank you for doing that. Next step is to follow the revision steps in Google Docs. So in your assignment for classwork number 71, you're going to follow the steps and you're going to fill out that Google Doc before turning it in. So it's going to ask you to follow some revision steps so that you can revise your rough draft, and you're just going to type in some information about the changes that you made. We're going to go over all of those revision steps in this video right here, but once you fill in all of the information on your Google Doc, then you can just turn it in and we'll move on to the final draft. That'll be the next assignment. So what we're going to do right now is we're just going to go over some of the revision steps that you're going to take to improve your rough draft. All right, so here we go. It's going to be very simple step-by-step explanations here. First step, read your essay out loud. Now, if you've been in my class for any amount of time, you've probably heard me say that the best thing that you can do to revise your writing is to actually read it out loud to yourself. So you got a couple options here. You might want to put yourself on mute and just kind of read it to yourself. If you have a teacher that you want to read it to, you can read it to me. If you work with another teacher, you can read it to them. If you have a family member in the house, you can read your essay to them. And if you have a dog or a cat or a pet or a hamster or something like that, you can read your essay to your pet. But basically, reading your essay out loud forces you to, think about your wording and see if it'll make sense to another person who's actually reading it or listening to it. And as you're reading your essay out loud, I feel like that's where you're going to make the most corrections. That's where you're going to make the most changes because you're actually hearing what your writing sounds like. And, just in general regarding the topic of revision, I feel like revision might be the hardest step of the whole writing process because you've spent all this time doing a little bit of research, creating a graphic organizer, writing a rough draft, and you feel like you just want to be done. But revision is really important. It takes your writing from being good or okay or pretty good to being truly excellent. All right? Making gains in your writing is all about revising. And I know a lot of people don't want to do it, but to me, it is the most important step in the writing process. It makes you become a better writer. It is totally worth spending the time on. And if you read your essay out loud, that is it might sound awkward or goofy, but it's the best way to improve your writing. Again, all of you are good writers, but we want to go from good to great, or very good to excellent. And the only way that you can do that is by revising. The actual improvement in your writing comes from revising, right? Because when you revise the work that you have done, the next time you're doing an assignment, the next time that you're doing some sort of rough draft, you're going to already know all of these good kind of lessons about writing that you've learned from the previous revision process. So just remember that revising is an extremely important step, and it's okay to spend a day or two on your revisions. All right, what's the next thing that you should do? Make sure that you're writing in complete sentences. Again, it's really helpful to read your writing out loud so that you know if you're writing complete sentences. What is a complete sentence? Well, it is a sentence with a subject and a verb. That's basically it. And just make sure that your sentence is not a run-on sentence, and make sure that it makes sense. And the easiest way to tell if it makes sense is to read it out loud, like we talked about on the previous slide. You want to make sure that you have a capital letter to start the sentence. That's just, basic punctuation. All right. Make sure that you're capitalizing any proper nouns, any names, or the first word of your sentence. That is extremely important. That is just basic punctuation rules of the English language. Similarly, make sure that you have a period to end the sentence, because then reader knows that you're moving on to a new sentence. Again, just very simple, basic conventions of the English language. Next one is make sure that you have 3 quotes, okay? If you don't have 3 quotes, then go back to the last assignment or go back all the way to number 69 and you can find your quotes in the PDF that I have provided for you. All right, if you have 3 quotes, then you can move on to the next one, which is make sure that each quote has a quotation mark and a citation. So your quotation marks will go around your quote. So here's, the writing. And then your citation, it goes in parentheses with the author's last name here or the organization name in our case, and then the page number. And then a period goes after the citation. So I know that looks like a little weird with my little on-screen marker here, but you have quotes, quotation marks, I should say, then your quote directly from the text, then you close the quotation, then you open up a parentheses. Then you put the organization name or the author's last name, then the page number, close parentheses, and period. All right? That is how you properly do a citation. Make sure that it looks clean, make sure that it looks fresh, make sure that you're following these directions. Another one is add more details to concepts that you feel strongly about. All right, so when we're doing our graphic organizer and our rough drafts, I feel like they're very bare bones. They're like, all right, we got the format, we've got the organization, we've got 5 paragraphs. All right, cool, we're ready, we're done, let's turn it in. No, you don't want to turn it in right away. You want to add more details to concepts that you think are interesting, concepts that you feel passionately about. In this essay, we're trying to help refugees. If there's some certain aspect of helping refugees that you think is really important, then you want to add more details, right? Either off the top of your head or do a little more research and find out some more information. The last thing you're going to do before moving on to your final draft is, you guessed it, read your writing out loud one more time so that you can make any final corrections. All right, I'm telling you, it's a little odd. It might feel weird to do it at first, but it is, I guarantee you, the #1 best way to improve your writing. All right, because remember, you're not just writing this for a grade. Okay, yeah, you do care about getting a good grade and passing the class, but in theory, you write so you can share your writing with other people. That is the whole point of writing. All right. So you gotta practice that. You gotta pretend that you're doing that. So in order to pretend that you're sharing your writing, if you read it out loud to yourself, it gives you the best opportunity to catch the vibe of what the reader is gonna feel or what the listener is gonna feel, and that allows you to make any changes and make any improvements. All right. So basic main idea. One thing that I want you to walk away with from this video is revision is important. It is the most important step in the writing process. It's also very easy to just skip over, right? Because you want to be done, and I get that. You want to be done, and you want to turn it in and move on to the next thing and be like, word, I'm done. I finished my essay. But revision is where you really make your writing better. So please follow all the revision steps. And I guarantee you that the next essay that you write is going to be even better than this one. So again, thank you for watching, everybody. As always, I hope that you have a great class.